I'm delighted to introduce our two presenters this morning, Marilyn Huckenpoehler and Cindy Ericksen. Marilyn believes that gathering with others and being grounded by meditation are building blocks for personal well-being and social activism. She loves hosting soup nights with her wife, Lynn, gardening, and traveling with daughter Katy and Katy's partner, Evan. She has intermittently dabbled in Buddhist, MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, correct? And HeartMath meditation practices since 2005 and has been a UU since 2002. Cindy is a marriage and family therapist in private practice in La Crosse. She also gives workshops and presentations on a variety of mindfulness strategies and practices. She actively uses meditation and other mindfulness practices in her therapy practice and her own personal life. She is the parent of 3 adult children and a grandparent to 3 grandchildren. Please welcome Marilyn and Cindy.
And thank you, everyone. It's good to be here with you today. Recently, Jefferson Fisher, a communications expert and lawyer, suggested that when we talk, our first sentence should be a breath. Our first sentence should be a breath. Today, we will share with you the science of what happens in that breath, how breath and meditation affect our physical and mental health, and how they support our spiritual development. We'll also give you a snapshot of what happens in our weekly Thursday drop-in UU meditation group, and we'll have an opportunity to practice together some short meditation techniques.
Oh, there we go. Woo. Awesome. Is that too loud, or we're good? Okay. All right. So the kind of meditation that we're going to be talking about today is called mindful meditation. Some people use other names for it, but we're going to be calling it mindfulness meditation. The reason that we've chosen that type of meditation is that's the kind of meditation that the research is solid behind, that shows that it creates positive changes in our brain to help us live a more helpful, enjoyable life, more joyous life. So I'm going to talk a little bit about mindfulness as well. There's many mindfulness tools available, and meditation is just one of those tools. All mindfulness helps us slow down the unhelpful chatter in our minds and focus on helpful thoughts. So some definitions to start with. Mindfulness means maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and surrounding environment through a gentle, nurturing lens. Mindfulness is a way of being in the world. Mindfulness meditation is a mental training practice in which you focus your mind on your experiences, like thoughts, your breath, sounds you hear, in the present moment. Some people wonder if mindfulness and mindful meditation are a religious practice. And so both mindfulness and mindful meditation come out of the Buddhist tradition. However, more recently, they've been transformed by people who want a more secular practice. So it's more available to all people. And that's especially important now that we have so much research about the benefits of it. More people want to try it, and they don't necessarily want the religious aspect of it. So in thinking about, when we do mindful meditation, it helps us be more mindful. And what are the benefits of being more mindful? So here's some examples. Do you sit steaming mad at a red light because you're late, or see it as an opportunity to breathe deeply and practice patience? So you're going to be at the light no matter the same amount of time, either way, right? Just something to think about. It's a choice, which you're going to do. Do you take 3 to 4 seconds to appreciate the lovely flowers in the planter as you walk by, or do you just walk by worrying about your next meeting? When we take that extra couple seconds, we find more joy in our life. And that mindfulness of that moment helps us be more calm and at peace. And the last example I have here is, do you show empathy when your spouse has a bad day, or look annoyed and walk away? So mindfulness also is important in our relationships and helps build relationships. So I'm doing a little bit on meditation. On the numbers of meditation. I'm going to go by this quickly because a lot of these are, actually, I have to admit, they're old, but some of this is more accurate. So why people start meditating. 60% reported meditation helped them significantly. And you can see in the right-hand column there the reasons or the benefits that people have experienced, which are really significant. A lot of us, think about general wellness, but you get down to the bottom and see decreasing depression. 17.8% report that. So that's a significant number. The next one is 10 million people. So this is an old number, and I couldn't find the number right now, but I found the percentage. It said 17.3% of Americans are now meditating. That's pretty amazing. I couldn't find an update on the 14%, so we're going to go over that. And since 2012, the number of people practicing meditation has at least tripled. So it's really getting more mainstream, as you can see. And then one more number, that meditation has shown to decrease depression relapses by 12%. So I'm going to just talk briefly about a couple of people that have really helped make meditation more mainstream. One of them is Dan Harris, and you might remember that he was a news anchor, and also he was on the Good Morning American show, I believe. He had very high anxiety, and he was self-medicating with cocaine. And he actually had a meltdown live on Good Morning America, and they had to take him off the show in that moment. So he needed to do something differently, and he eventually found meditation, and it totally transformed his life. Nothing else he tried worked for him, but the meditation really transformed his life. So he wrote this book, 10% Happier. He now is like the founder of an organization called 10% Happier. He talks a lot about it. He's really brought it, somebody like that a news anchor, like his buddies at the news shows were like, why are you doing this, But he really brought it into the mainstream because of who he is and his willingness to talk about why it's been important to him and the way it's transformed his life. The second person I want to talk about is Dr. Richie Davidson. So many of you may have heard of him. He's a professor down at UW-Madison, and as was saying in the quotes, he's the founder of the Center for Healthy Minds. He actually did a project with the La Crosse School District on kindness and spoke, I remember, at Viterbo. So Dr. Davidson's story is when he was a grad student, even before he was a grad student, he was very interested in meditation and was practicing himself. And he wanted to become a researcher. That was his goal, his career goal. And he really wanted to study like how meditation changes the brain or impacts the brain. And his major professor told him that would be a career-ending move to do that. So he decided not to do it. But he continued meditating. He's very involved with the meditation community in the Madison area. And through that, he had the opportunity to meet the Dalai Lama. And he told the Dalai Lama about his secret desire, and the Dalai Lama said, you must do this. And the Dalai Lama also said, I can give you access to monks who are longtime meditators so you can study their brains, and I will also provide some funding for you to be able to do that. So that was what really kicked off this whole change. Nobody was studying it before that, and then he was able to. Then noting that in 2006, he was named one of the most influential people in the world for Time magazine. And he was also on the cover of Time magazine another time for some other part of his research. So definitely not career ending at all. All right, so the science shows meditation can help in so many ways. And I'll just let you peruse that list yourself. And as you peruse it, like, what's not to like about all that? Yeah. So we're thinking about why is meditation so transformative? Okay. Thank you, Julie. I'm sure other people can't stand it either. You were just the brave one. So just a little science we're going to do here. So they say, there's a phrase, change your brain, change your life. And so when we meditate consistently, and that's part of the key, we need to meditate consistently, the structure of the brain actually changes. And so some of the changes are, it increases neuroplasticity. So the ability of the brain to modify its structure is increased. And another thing that happens is that the gray matter, the density of gray matter increases in certain parts of the brain, and that's in learning, memory, emotional regulation, and empathy. So that's building capacity to change, and then the neuroplasticity allows the change to be easier to do. And those two things really work well together to make that transformation. And another part of this is that traits we think are fixed, like quick temper, moodiness, or compassion, are actually learned skills. We learn those usually within our families as a child. They're not fixed characteristics, and truly they can be changed through meditation. And I totally own this. The first one, the quick temper, that was me. And people that know me now are like, that really was you? I'm like, yeah, it was really me. Slamming, yelling, yeah, all kinds of stuff. So another thing that both is created by the meditation and helps us make transformations is, this is not a scientific term, but we call it the pause. And the pause is the time between when we experience something or think something and when we react to our thought or our experience. And during that pause, it's just a couple, maybe it's just 1 second or a couple of seconds, that it allows us to take a breath and choose how we're going to respond. So we can actually respond in a more helpful way. When we have choice, we can be more helpful. And that really transforms how we interact in the world when we're able to do that. One of the things that we always talk about with meditation is it slows down monkey mind. Also a not scientific term, but it is a term we all use. So it slows down the constant chattering of our mind, the self-sabotaging thoughts that undermine our confidence, and the unhelpful worrying that leads to anxiety, and the emotional triggers that lead to reactive behaviors. So that's the pause. We can go to the next slide then. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was talking really fast, I guess. You can keep going. Sorry about that. And I didn't even notice. Okay. Yeah, it was so insightful, right? So here I just have, for people who are interested in starting to meditate, I'm just sharing these apps with you. The first one is Headspace. It was actually developed by a man in the UK that was a Buddhist monk for a while. He derobed and now he's doing this. They do have a 30-day free trial if you want to try it out. Calm, I know you have to pay for it. I don't know if they have a free trial. That's very popular. A lot of people really enjoy that, especially if your focus really is creating more calm. And it has a lot of stuff for insomnia on it. 10% Happier is Dan Harris's. And actually, I was just reading up last night, he started that with some colleagues, and they have separated, and he is now no longer associated with that app, and they're changing the name to Happier. But it's still a reliable, good app. They just want to do different things, and so they separated. And then Insight Timer you can use that for free. Most of the features are free. You can, for a small fee every month, you can choose, you can have additional features, but you really don't need those. That's the app that I've been using for forever. I couldn't tell you how long. And I didn't have it up here, but I did want to add that the center, Richie Davidson's Center for Healthy Minds, they now have an app too, which I'm not that familiar with, but of course, everything on there is going to be completely scientifically based. So if that's what you're looking for, that's where you'll find that. Now for Marilyn.
I'd like to shift for a moment. We have I'm on now? Great, thank you. I'd like to shift for a moment to give some space to the spirituality of meditation, because that's there as well. And certainly within many secular and faith traditions, almost every faith tradition that I can think of has some sort of practice that brings about meditation or mindfulness. So this is just a small sampling of them, that some of them that you might recognize, some might be new to you. But within all of these practices, what there is in common is a pathway to intentionally focusing our mind on a specific value or intention, or the practice is a pathway to what we call getting unhooked, a pathway to an awareness of the present moment. And that awareness of the present moment helps us recognize that the thoughts and sensations that clutter our awareness, they're not permanent. For me, as a Unitarian Universalist, the practice of meditation is deeply connected to our 6 values shown in the graphic on the screen. It's a path of self-discovery to explore my relationship to those values and to build my capacity to live them out. In particular, I want to take a moment to talk about the value of pluralism. It's related to our UU principle of a search for truth and meaning. There's a tension in that value. Anytime you bring 2 or more people together, there will be many diverse interpretations of truth and meaning. And I'm going to come back to that idea of pluralism in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the next slide. Those UU values are why I worked with Cindy last fall to plan for a weekly drop-in meditation group here at UU. We can probably all agree that we live in a world that's both beautiful and broken at the same time, and that became more obvious than ever last November. The goals for our group listed on the screen articulate my own hopes for the group. I want to be clear that I hope our meditation group will always support that tension that comes with our UU value of plurality. We won't always agree or think alike, and all are welcome to engage in respectful and thoughtful expression of those thoughts and values. But I truly believe that the practice of meditation, and specifically meditating together in a circle or community, can build our skills for navigating pluralism, and more specifically, for navigating the political divides and action that we need to take in a larger civic space. Both community and meditation can ground us for thoughtful and meaningful action, or good trouble, to shape the world that we long to build. Meditation provides space and time to calm our nervous systems so that we don't succumb to hysteria, fear, and binary thinking. Meditation helps us tune in to what is happening within ourselves and in the world. We build our capacity to stay present rather than numbing out. That capacity helps us tap into joy and gratitude and appreciation for the world and the beauty of our lives. And it also helps us to build empathy and to see those who are suffering amongst us. Through meditation, we learn to have our first words be a breath. And from there, we can communicate in respectful and compassionate ways with others. From that small centered space, we can begin to have a right-sized understanding of what we value and how we can put those values into action. By meditating in community, we learn from one another and enhance our skills to focus on the world we wish to build. Much like a UU Sunday service, a covenant group, a neighborhood, or a community organization, the Drop-In UU Meditation Group is one more place where we can build and sustain places where we can trust and be known and care for one another, which Garrett Bucks, a writer and organizer, insists is a crucial element of effective change work. So having provided my personal take on why I wanted to start this group, I'd also like to give voice to this 30 or so people that have attended one or more times. So on this next slide, you'll see what some of our group members said in response to a question I gave them. Why do you meditate? And you can see that their responses are quite a range. Self-care, getting through the day, being able to be present and find joy, getting control of thoughts, practicing Buddhism. People meditate for all kinds of reasons. The next slide then, please, Heather. I also asked the group members to tell us why in a group. What does meditating in a group do for you? And I'll give you a few moments to read their responses. You want me to read them? Sure. So meditating in a group adds the power, energy, and presence of the group and enhances the effect. It's a warm and welcoming, intimate environment. No pressure. Helps me focus. A live guided meditation is easy to follow and just let go. Provides accountability. It's people with common goals practicing and sharing their experience. It's a plus to get to know one another better, and it's an opportunity to learn what others took away from it or experienced, and an opportunity to try different types of meditation. So every Thursday when we meet for our group, we follow a pattern. And that pattern is really just coming together in a circle and introducing ourselves. Cindy and I trade off as facilitators, and we'll provide an open-ended question just to give people a chance to have that time to introduce themselves and get to know one another. And we'll also maybe provide a little bit of information about the particular practice and history of that practice, or the theme that we'll be talking about during the meditation. From there, we will do either some instruction or some guided meditation to get people practicing it, followed by 10 minutes of silent sitting meditation. And then we have an opportunity as a group to just share what that experience was like, or offer questions, or talk about meditation in general. And then finally, we close with just chatter and laughter and that experience of enjoying community together. Heather, if you could pop ahead 2 more slides. So when meditating, there are 2 kind of themes that we work with every time we meet, and that is the idea that breath is really central to meditation, and that it helps us bring our thoughts back. It helps us find a way to regulate our nervous system as we deal with difficult emotions or experiences. People who have physical pain find breath to be a place that they can use to manage those kind of sensations. So there are many different techniques to working with breath. And then posture is also important for meditation. People can meditate on a cushion, they can meditate in a chair, people do walking meditation, some folks even lay on their back on the ground to do kind of a corpse pose of meditation, familiar to those of you with yoga. In our group, we're sitting on chairs, and we often talk about, and you might find that you want to adjust yourself in your chairs, because we'll be entering into a couple of meditation exercises now, but really focusing on feet planted on the floor to ground ourselves, aligning our spine straight over our hips, almost as if there was an invisible thread coming out of the top of our head, aligning our head over our shoulders quite evenly. So you're really adopting a posture of dignity, because all of this work starts with self-compassion and self-respect. So just really finding a place where you have some ease. It's not rigid, but it's also a place of deep respect. People may prefer to close their eyes during meditation, or they may just take a mid-distance point in the center of the circle where they can focus their gaze without interruption during meditation. So we'll have Cindy start us off with a meditation.
Okay. So, although in the group, excuse me, at the end we do 10 minutes of silent meditation, that can be challenging for some people just beginning. So I'm going to do about a 5-minute meditation. We'll just do about 1 minute of silence in this, just to give you a feel of what that's like. And I'll be guiding like how to manage your thoughts during that 1 minute of silent meditation, in case, just to help it go more smoothly. So everything that Marilyn just shared is a good way to start, with our feet on the floor. And of course you can choose to either close your eyes, or if you'd like to do a soft gaze down towards the floor. Whichever is more comfortable for you is what you should do. And then just bring your attention to your breath. Just to slow everything down, just using your natural breath. And then notice yourself seated there, halfway between heaven and earth, with dignity and calm. Notice the chair underneath you, supporting you, and behind you, supporting your back, and your feet on the ground. Imagining the energy like roots going down deep into the ground, helping you to feel rooted. And just staying with the breath. Now just notice in your body all the places you might be feeling the breath. Perhaps you're feeling it by your nose, your upper lip, your throat, your chest, your stomach, maybe your back and the sides. We actually feel our breath throughout the body, so notice all those places. So we're going to allow the breath to be an anchor for us, something we come back to whenever our thoughts drift off, come back to the breath. And so in order to do that, pick one of the places in your body where you're noticing your breath. Again, it could be that by the nose, the upper lip, the throat, chest, abdomen, anywhere you feel it. And let go of those other places in your body where you're feeling it and focus just on that one spot. When you've found that spot, just stay right there. And as if you notice that thoughts are coming in, just let them go. You might imagine them floating away in a stream, or like clouds floating away. You may picture a whiteboard and just keep it blank. Whatever helps you clear your mind. But knowing it'll only be a second or two, and then the thoughts will come back. And that's your monkey mind. Just let go of the thoughts and come back to your breath. Let your thoughts be like the waves of the ocean, coming in, going out. And let the breath be like the waves of the ocean, coming in, going out. Staying with the breath. When thoughts come in, just let them go. Come back to the breath. And so now as we gradually come to a close, with your eyes still closed, gradually bring yourself more present in the room, noticing again the chair below you and behind you, your feet on the floor. And whenever you're ready, you can gradually open your eyes and be fully present in the room.